This conference will now be recorded.
Hi guys, good morning. I hope you're able to hear me. Can anyone please confirm?
Yes, we can able to hear you.
Can you please confirm able to hear me?
Hello, Bhaskar. Yes, we can able to hear you.
Hello. Can you please confirm able to hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
I guess I'm having. Give me a moment. Yeah, can you please confirm now? I changed my headset.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, perfect.
Yes, it's a lot better now.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to talk about the difference between the data and information. So basically, where exactly we're going to use this, I mean to say, what are the ETL tools that we are going to use, and where exactly we are going to use this. When you run the business, you're going to store the data. You're going to have a data in the databases. Or simply we can say, these are all the things that we can say as data stores. So we are going to feed the data here. Of course, we are not going to be responsible to feed the data into this particular place. So what do you mean by this data? So data which is not going to have any meaning for that. Okay, so data in the form of numbers, a data in the form of text. So when you make any order from for any of the business, let's say if you take a Amazon, if you order a product, they're going to take all your transaction details. So whatever the transaction, you're going to do it from your application. So that comes under the data, and you're going to fill all the details and you're going to submit the transaction. So once the transaction is succeeded, they're going to keep the data in their storages. If you take a bank application in the same way, the bank also is going to do it. If you transfer amount from one account to an account, or if you withdraw, then that comes under the transaction. So transaction details are going to store in the data stores. Or simply we can say it is a data. So data in the form of raw. So we cannot get any insights on top of this. So if we wanted to get the insights on top of this data, first we need to apply a data cleansing. So we need to apply transformation. So once we apply transformation and right after doing something, then we are going to get the information. The main target is to get the information on top of your business. So that is about the data that I'm just talking about it here. So data refers to raw unprocessed facts. So we are not going to have a processed data. So we are just going to keep everything inside this. It's just raw data only. So that may be figures, symbols, and observations we are going to have. So this data is going to be generated by some applications. Okay, so no one will ask you what is data, and there is a chances to ask information. So let's say that. So as I said, a data is going to be in the form of numbers, text, images, audio, and video. We can collect the data in the form of anything. So this is not going to have any meaning for this. We are not going to have any context. So example for this is, if you collect the transaction data and every day you're collecting the transaction data, and one fine day I wanted to see a trends on top of the data. So that comes under the information. But whatever you're going to collect on daily basis, that is coming under the data. Example also here, one more example. Collection of numbers representing a temperatures. If you are collecting temperatures on daily basis over a month is a data. So every day if you collect whatever you are going to collect on every day, that is coming under the data. So this is not going to have any meaning for that. You're just collecting it. And in the same way, if you run the business also is going to collect the data on daily basis. Now what is this information is on top of this data, whatever you have collected this data, if you wanted to get the insights on top of this data, I wanted to see the trends, on which day it is high and which day is low. So then definitely it is going to have some trend. So this is the information. Whatever you are going to use to show these insights, that is coming under the data. That means information is dependent on the data. Without data, you cannot get the information. So information is going to have a meaning, and information will be used to take the business decisions. Information is going to be used to take business decisions, whereas data is not going to be taken, and information is dependent on the data. If the recorded temperatures are analyzed and presented as a average monthly temperatures, if you wanted to say a trends in the form of average or even general trend also, even if you go for that, that is coming under the information. And if you wanted to find what is the lowest temperature and what is the highest temperature, or product wise, if you wanted to see the sales and which product is having more sales and which product is having higher sales, that is also coming under the information. So information, something which can be readable and which can be understandable. So that is about the information. So it's a general term that I'm just saying here. So if you wanted to get the information, first you need to have a data. How you're going to store the data in this particular place? I mean to say, I'm talking about only the data stores. I'm not talking about which applications will be used to push the data into this particular stores. So when it comes to the data stores, we are having two different systems. So very frequently we faced many times in the interview also. What are the difference between OLTP system and OLAP system? What is the purpose of this OLTP system? Where exactly we are going to use? And what is this OLAP system? And where exactly we are going to use this? So both are the data stores. Both are the data stores only, or we can say databases. The intention of this OLTP system is different. The purpose of this OLAP system is different. The way we design of this system is completely different when you compare with this particular system. So OLTP system is specifically designed for running the business. If I wanted to run the business, then definitely I need to use this OLTP system. The design itself is going to support to run the business. So what kind of design they're going to use here is they're going to use ER modeling, entity relationship modeling. So we don't require to know what is this ER modeling and how they're going to design. It's out of the boundary for us, and we are not going to be part of the application development, or we are not going to be part of database developers. So I need to make you clear on this particular systems before going to start our data factory. Okay, so ER modeling they're going to use to build this particular system. In the same way here also they're going to use a modeling called dimensional modeling. We're going to use dimensional modeling to design this particular system. So this is specifically designed for analyzing the business. So this is the place we are going to take very frequently to take the data for our data factory. And this design itself is going to have a very less number of tables, and here we are going to have a more number of tables to design OLTP system. We are not going to maintain any duplicated data here. It's completely unique data we are going to have in the OLTP system. Whereas in a WELAP system, we are going to have a historical data, or we can say a duplicated data. So the design is going to support to store historical data, and we can design this with the help of dimensional modeling. So dimensional modeling, you will be having two different set of tables, a fact table and a dimension table. And we need to load the data into the fact tables. We need to load the data into dimension tables by using a data factory. We are going to have a two set of tables. And this is our destination we are going to have. Of course, your destination may be the file system. Your destination may be the data warehouse. I'll give the clarity when the time comes. At this point of time, I'm just going to say your target is the OLAP system. And we are going to have a dimensional modeling where we are going to have a fact tables and dimension tables. We need to take the data for this fact table, and we need to take the data for this dimension table. Now, when it comes to the data source, what type of tables we are going to have it? So this is a data source for your OLAP system. OLTP system is a source for your OLAP system. The fact table is, you can call this same kind of table we are having in OLTP system, that is transaction table. So transaction tables, not a single table. By using multiple tables, we are going to take data from here and we are going to feed the data into this particular table, not a single table. And equivalent to dimension table, we are going to have a master tables here. The naming standards are a little different, but the data source for this fact table is, we are going to take it from the transaction tables, and for dimension tables we are going to take it from the master tables. And since we are having a huge number of tables when you compare with the OLAP system, we need to join the tables, we need to bring, and we need to take the data in simple way. I wanted to say, for your OLAP system, we are going to take the data from the OLTP system. So as I said, this particular system is used to run the business, and OLAP system is used to take business decisions. OLAP system is going to have a feature to take the business decision. And less volume of data we are going to have here, and here we are going to have a very huge volume of data. Because day to day we are going to ingest, we are going to keep appending the data in this particular place. And these are all the differences that I just wanted to say. So this particular question, very frequently there are chances to ask in the interview. What are the difference between OLTP system and OLAP system? Is everyone clear on this? Any question?
What is the full form for OLTP and OLAP?
Yeah, let me say here, OLTP means online transactional processing system, and OLAP means online analytical processing system. Okay, so both are the databases only. both are databases, but the purpose of this OLAP system is to take the business decisions. And the purpose of this OLTP system is to run the business. So when you run the business, like, if you take Amazon, OLTP system is going to have too many users, and you can make a transaction and you can store the data in the OLTP system. As I said, if you take an example, Amazon, when you order a product, you are the customer to this particular system. I mean to say, you can access this OLTP system through that application. But when it comes to the OLAP system, this can be accessed by business users, the people who are going to work in the BI side, the people who are going to work with the ETL, and the direct business users, stakeholders, they can access this. I mean to say, this particular system. And you will be having very less number of users for this particular system when you compare with OLTP system. For OLTP, millions of users are going to be there. Okay, so these are all the differences, the main differences between these particular two systems. So that is what I just noted here, a few points. So there are two different types of databases, as I said, OLTP system, that is online transactional processing system, and OLAP, online analytical processing system. For real-time processing means when you make a transaction, it is going to directly store into this particular place. So OLTP databases are built to handle high volume of transactions in real time. So multiple people can make a transactions at one shot. So that is about the real-time processing data. And whatever the data we are going to have in this particular database, as I said, we are not going to have any duplicated data. We cannot store the duplicated data because the design itself is going to have something like that. So because of that reason, we can say OLTP system supports normalized data structure. We are not going to have a duplicated data here. And this particular system is going to support a DML operations. We can delete the data. I mean to say, we can directly we can say manipulations. We have a insertion. If you wanted to insert, you can do the insertion. And if you wanted to update, you can do the update. If you want to delete, you can delete the data. But OLAP system is not going to support for this. It supports, but it is not supposed to do it. We are responsible, or we can do modification of the data in the OLTP system. But when it comes to the OLAP, we cannot directly go and modify the data here. It has to come in the process. But when it comes to here, we can cancel the order. If you have an order, when you cancel the order, what happens is it is going to modify your data. So that is what it is going to say. We can support insertion when you order it, and when you cancel it, it is going to be deleted. And if you modify anything in the order, then it is going to be update. So all these three operations is responsible as part of the OLTP system. And concurrent access, at one shot we can have a multiple users to access the application. We can access this particular database by using the application, and the same time period, multiple users are going to order the product. Multiple people are going to do the transactions. So whatever the business it is, and we are going to have a primary key based index. So because we need to make a relationship between the tables, so we are going to have a primary keys here. And what are the applications we are going to have? Whatever the business in the world presently running, every business has to use OLTP system to run their business. If they wanted to run the business, any business it is, they need to have a OLTP system, then only they can run the business. Otherwise, they cannot run the business. So all CRM applications comes under the OLTP systems, and e-commerce databases, banking systems, inventory systems. Okay, so sales business, everything has to come under the OLTP system to run their business. And WLAP system also just gave the differences. The intention of this particular system is to do the analytical processing. If you wanted to take the business decisions, then we need to have a WLAP database. So this is the place, our destination. Our destination is WLAP databases, our WLAP systems. So this is going to have a higher level data. Your OLTP system, the granularity is very low. Let's say, for example, when you run the business, definitely you're going to keep the transactions at date and time. Date and time level, we are going to store the transaction details. But if you bring same level of data into the WLAP system, the size of the database is very huge. We don't require to analyze the data at the time period. For my business, 99% of the businesses are not required to analyze at the time level. Now what you can do is we can increase the granularity, the storage granularity. The storage granularity means whatever the level of data you're going to store, that we can say it is a granularity. Here we are storing the data at date and time. Let's say, for example, if I make a transactions at this point of time, we can say 5/31/2023, the time is 7:26. Like this, if I do transactions on every day, you'll be having captured with the time. So too many transactions. On the single day, you can have a multiple transactions. But I don't want to see the transaction at time level. I wanted to see the transaction at date level. You just imagine. Whatever the transactions you have done today, just imagine 10 transactions you have done. All those 10 transactions, when you see the data at the date level, it is going to become as a one transaction. So because of that reason, we can say we are going to have a summarized data here. In the WLAP systems, we are going to have a aggregations, summarized data. So the purpose of this is to do analytical processing. To do the analytical processing, we are going to have it. And your OLTP system is a normalized system, and whereas your WLAP system is a denormalized system. We are going to handle duplicated data. We are going to handle the duplicated data with less number of child. So that is going to improve the performance. If you can join the data directly with OLTP system, since there is a hundreds of tables, is going to kill the performance. So to avoid this, we are going to have a data warehouses. So we can slice the data with different levels. Okay, we can drill up and we can drill down with the dimensions. Okay, so how we are going to do this? I'm just going to take you through the brief idea about how we can do validations, how we can have a, like, if you have a category and subcategory and product. So to get this drill down functionality, we need to provide the data to the downstream system. So downstream system is what? Reporting system. So you're responsible to provide the data to them. So they're going to take the data from the data warehouse. So if we can keep the data for category and if we can keep the data for subcategory and product, then they can use how they can show it. It is up to their intention, or that is their responsibility. But our responsibility is we need to provide the data to the downstream systems. And a data consolidation. I mean to say, WLAP system is going to have a integrated data. But in the OLTP system, your business data may be distributed. Your business data may be distributed. We need to integrate by using ADF, or we can say ETL tools, and we can extract the data from all these three different data sources. All these three different data sources, we are going to extract it. we are going to integrate them, we are going to combine them, and then we are going to load the data into the destination. So because of that reason, we can say we can integrate the data in the OLAP system. So integration processing is going to be done by something else, but whatever the data you're going to store here, it's a consolidated database. It's an integrated database. You're taking data from multiple places and you're keeping only unified data store, so that they can easily, I mean to say the reporting team, they can easily pull the data from this particular place. So that is about this. And a summary level data, I told you, if we have a data at the date and time level, and we are going to store at higher level data here. So when you see practically, then you can understand how it is going to be there. So granularity is very important for data warehouse. So all those things are just differences. I just wanted to take you through the differences between OLTP system and OLAP system. So in interview, there is a chances to ask about this particular systems. Is everyone clear? Any questions as of now?
No. OLTP is only the source for OLAP system, sir.
Exactly. That is the place where they're going to store business data. Okay, so because of that reason, OLTP system is the source for OLAP systems. Any
Means
ETL
it is
systems.
only the source for
I mean
OLAP.
to say, when I say OLAP, when I say OLTP, it's not only one system. Okay, you'll be having SQL Server, you'll be having Oracle, you'll be having file system, you'll be having many things. So I mean to say, wherever you're going to store your business data, that system we can call it as a OLTP system.
Okay,
Did you
means
get my point?
HDFS. Yeah. So
Not HDFS.
HDFS.
HDFS is something different. It is. That is
Okay.
little different. I'll give a clarity on that. So when I'm going to talk about ADLS, I'll talk about what is that HDFS. Okay, so data may be wherever you stored your business related data. Even social network also, you may have your business data. I mean to say, you're taking some feedback from the customer. You released a product, and I wanted to analyze my customer feedbacks, because no one can come directly to your website and write their feedback, right? So they may write some feedback in the social networks. So if you wanted to bring that, then you have to take it from that particular area also. So those things also will be related to your business data only to grow in the business. So I mean to say, this OLTP system, wherever you're going to have your business data, that particular system is a OLTP system. From here, we are going to take it into the OLAP system. So OLAP system means what? Again, so here also you are going to have many systems. Like when I say OLAP, now since we are talking about Azure data warehouses. So previously we used to have a data warehouses. Again, here also we are going to have a SQL Server, Oracle, Netezza. Okay, so many things are there, which are specifically designed for data warehousing. And Snowflake, that is also data warehouse. Okay, if you wanted to store the data into Snowflake, you can store data into Snowflake. If you want to store data into Azure data warehouse, you can store into Azure data warehouse. Okay, so we'll be having multiple systems as part of the OLAP system. Now you're clear on this, I guess, right?
Yes.
Okay.
In that
Yeah,
case,
please go ahead.
can I say OLTP as a data lake?
At this point of time, it's too early to talk about this data lake. I'll give a clarity on it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yeah. So now I have a data in the data source. I wanted to move data from one place to another place. in my current project, to just imagine, I'm having SSIS to do moving data from the OLTP system to OLAP system. Just imagine. Okay, so this is an on-premise. This database is there in on-premise. This database is also there in on-premise. I'm doing the development is also on-prem. So on-prem means you have to take care of everything. You are responsible to install your SQL Server and to install this SSIS, upgrading, setting everything. Every single related infrastructure activity, you are responsible. So that is about the on-premise. If you go for on-premise means if suddenly if it is down, or let's say in some days there will be very huge demand for your product. At this point of time, if you wanted to increase this compute power, then it is very highly impossible to add compute power immediately with less period of time. You can add it. Lot of approvals is required. Okay, and to add this again, you need to make it down and you need to add it. So for some time you need to make it down also. There are many challenges are there if you go for on-premise. So cooling, separate cooling system is required, separate network team is required, separate administration team is required. So many people are required to handle all these things apart from the infrastructure. So to avoid this, to reduce the cost cutting, if I wanted to increase my compute power for only for this today, for this day, after completion of this day, I wanted to downgrade it. You can downgrade very easily if it is other than on-premise system. So if I wanted to downgrade my compute power, I can downgrade even if it is on-premise, but it is going to be waste of your compute power. Just because for few days you took the compute power and you cannot use it for others. I mean to say, just imagine you bought it for your business only. So you can use this only when it is required. So there are many things, many challenges are available in the on-premise. So to avoid all those challenges, we are having a cloud system. So cloud system came into picture to reduce many things. So that is what I'm just saying here. The differences between or what is your on-premise, what you're going to do with the on-premise. On-premise refers to the traditional approach. It's a traditional mechanism it is. And hosting and managing IT infrastructure. If you wanted to manage your infrastructure, you have to do it. So hosting of the application, you have to do it. Everything that you are going to do it. And softwares within an organization, physical premises or data centers. So installation of the softwares that you need to take care about it. Okay, so maintenance, purchase, operation of their servers. I mean to say, you have to maintain the data centers, you have to maintain network, you have to maintain everything. So security, physical security is required, and even cyber security is also required. So that means everything that you are going to take care. So the organization's IT team is responsible for managing and maintaining the infrastructure, including hardware provisioning, software installation, update securities and backups, everything they're going to take care. So this is very huge cost for the startup companies or even for bigger companies also. There are many projects are moving towards to the cloud platform is because to reduce the cost cutting. To reduce the cost cutting, at the same time, we can take less time to make it available and 100% will be available, and we will be having disaster recovery. So if you wanted to maintain the replication with on-premise, it is very cost that is going to take. So there is a chances to lose the data if you go for on-premise if you don't have a replication. But very less price, with very less price, we can do it with compute. So when you go for computing, I mean to say cloud system, when you go for cloud computing, we are not going to take care anything. So most of the times the vendor is going to take care. We are just going to, if I wanted to add a compute power, let's say for example, I have a 10 computes. If I wanted to make it 50, then I can just go and add it. Just a few clicks away to add the compute power and to degrade the compute power with just few clicks away. But if you wanted to do the same thing with on-premise, it's very highly impossible with a very less period of time. So cloud computing is a model where computing resources and services are delivered over the internet. They're going to provide the compute resources. Apart from the compute resources, they're also going to provide the services. So what are the services are going to provided when you take Microsoft Azure that we are going to see. Okay, so all those things are going to be provided by cloud vendors. So instead of maintaining our own infrastructure, organizations can access and utilize the virtualized computing resources, that means virtual machines. So you can take a VM from the cloud and you can use that virtual machine. So we don't require to concentrate on the infrastructure. So that will be taken care by the vendor. And services on demand. So if you wanted to use this, you can use it, and if you wanted to pause this, you can pause it. So if you pause, we are not going to pay complete amount. We are going to pay less amount. So when it is in use, then you are going to pay as per your use. So they are going to provide the servers. So what they're going to provide is they can provide the servers, storages, databases, networking, softwares, and various other services that we can take it from the cloud. So what are the benefits if we go for the cloud computing? So that may be Microsoft Azure, that may be Amazon Web Services. So whatever it is, GCP, Cloud, Google Cloud Platform. So whatever it is, what are the benefits they're going to get? They're going to provide. So vendor to vendor, there will be a slight difference, but most of the things that they're going to provide with the same features. So scalability. Cloud services provide the flexibility to easily scale up and down. I told you, if I wanted to increase my compute power, I'm going to show you. I'll create a one database in the Azure. Okay, if I wanted to scale up, how we can do the scale up, that I'm going to do practically so that we can get better clarity. And if I wanted to scale down, you can do it very easily. Scale down based on what? Based on your demand. We have a database. Currently we're having a database, 3 different databases we are having. For development, we have a one SQL Server database. For testing, we have a one SQL Server database, and for production, we have a one SQL Server database. For development, we are not doing anything because development was completed, and if you wanted to test, we are going to test directly with the test server, test database. When we are going to test, that time only we are going to increase the compute power. If you don't increase the compute power, to read data from single table itself is going to take very longer time because we are having a millions of records. So you cannot even read the data from here. Okay, and I'll talk about this more in detail when I'm going to talk about the databases with Azure. Okay, so what we have done is, when we go for testing, that time only we increase the compute power. How we can increase, I'll show you practically. And right after completion of my testing, you are responsible to downgrade it. If you don't downgrade it, the license cost increases as per your compute power. And this one is having very huge compute power when it comparing with this one. So they asked us to keep only 250 DTUs. I'll talk about that later. Okay. So after completion of this, by default, there is a 10 DTUs. You need to bring it down to the 10 because we don't require to use it. We don't require compute power. And storage is different, compute power is different. Okay. So we'll see that. So that is very flexible when it comes to the cloud platform. So organizations can allocate more resources, as I said, during the peak usage and scale them down during period of low demand. If you're not going to test, just take it down. Okay, so today I'm going to stop working on this testing. Still it is not completed. I don't keep over the night. I'm just going to take it out. Tomorrow before starting, I'm going to again scale up. After completion of the scale up, I'm going to start doing the testing. So this is how it is going to be happening. So that is about the scalability and cost efficiency. As I said, the same way, if you have a more compute power, then you need to pay more. If you have a less compute power, you need to pay less. If you have a huge volume of data to store, of course, depends on your requirement, you're going to pay it. So cloud services operates on pay as you go model. Pay as you go. Even Microsoft Azure also supports pay as you go. By using this, allowing organizations to pay only for the resources they actually in use. Presently, whatever they're using, for that only they're going to pay. So we don't require to pay for everything. But if you go for on-premise, if I take a compute power, if I take a 10 compute powers, for 10 you have to pay it, whether you use it or not. But in the cloud, you're taking a rent. That rent also you're not paying for entire month or entire day. For whatever uses you have done, for that usage only you're going to take it. So that kind of model, we can say it is a pay as you go model. So cost efficiency is more when you compare with on-premise. So this eliminates the need for upfront infrastructure investments and reduces ongoing maintenance and operational costs. So we don't require to concentrate on it. We don't require to investment on the infrastructure. We can take easily and we can take it out easily. And then global accessibility. You can access your database from wherever you want to access it. So cloud services can be accessed from anywhere with an internet connection, allowing remote access to the applications and data. So to access this data from anywhere, you can access this particular database. So this is going to have a global accessibility. And few features are there. I'm just going to take you through. Definitely they're going to helpful to you to talk about why we need to go for cloud systems. Agility and speed. We can speed up your development when you go for this. So cloud services enable organizations to rapidly provision and deploy resources, applications and services, reducing the time required for infrastructure setup and software development. To have a one SQL Server database in on-premise, it takes days, it takes weeks also. But when it comes to the cloud, it just a minutes, a few minutes. Within few minutes, we can create and we can make it available. So just imagine how speed it is. So you can start doing the development. We don't require to wait to set up everything. Okay, so we can easily do setup with cloud platforms. And reliability and resilience. Reliability and resilience. So replication is available in the cloud systems. So what are the replications? What are the redundancies? That I'm going to talk about it more in detail when I'm going to talk about the ADLS, Azure Data Lake Storage, or anything that is going to be replicated by default in 3 different places. Okay, so where exactly and how exactly it is going to be there, I'm going to talk about more in detail. So we don't require to maintain all these things if it is a cloud, but if it is an on-premise, it is very cost effective to go for a replication. So having same setup, whatever the setup you're having in the present location, the same setup you need to keep it in far away from your location. That is very high cost to maintain if it is an on-premise, but if it is a cloud, your vendor is going to taking care about all those things. So this redundancy is going to help us to provide a solution for your disaster. If there is anything is happened, you're not going to lose the data. So that I'm going to talk a little more in detail when the time comes. And Microsoft, not only Microsoft, the cloud is going to provide managed services. Cloud is going to provide managed services. So there are many managed services. Whatever we are going to talk, ADF is a managed service. Azure Databricks is a managed service. Azure SQL Database is a managed service. So there are many services are coming under the managed services. We are not going to do anything for that. We are just going to use them. Okay, so that is what I'm saying. It is saying here, cloud providers offers a wide range of managed services, such as the databases, machine learning, analytics services, securities, monitoring. All those comes under the managed services. So what are the different types of services that Microsoft provides? We are going to see it. But most of the services that we are going to work as a data engineer is managed services. Okay. I have a differences somewhere. I just kept it. Yes. So there are few differences are there here. So you can go through them. I'll save this file so that you can have a look on it. If it is an on-premise, if it is an infrastructure ownership and management. If it is an on-premise, that is you're responsible. But if it is a cloud, we are not going to be part of it. So that is going to be taken care by vendor itself. If it is a Microsoft, Microsoft will be taken care. I mean to say, if it is a Azure, Microsoft will take care. And if it is GCP, Google will take care. And if it is AWS, Amazon will take care. So we are not going to be part of it. Okay, so capital expenditure versus operational expenditure. This is all just for sake of knowledge. We are having it. On-premise computing typically requires substantial upfront capital expenditure to purchase the hardware and to set up the infrastructure. But when it comes to here, we are not going to taking care. Everything will be taken care by the cloud system. So I'll share this file. We just go through them, and stability, scalability, and elasticity. So elasticity means we can increase or decrease, or we can, let's say we can have a resource. We can share the resources across the different services. We can have a resource. I'll talk about this one, elasticity, as part of the database. If you have a more compute power, if you wanted to share your compute power with other databases, we can share it. We have a feasibility. So that means we can use the hardware frequently. I mean to say, completely we can use the hardware compute powers if you go for this particular option. Close this. So maintenance updates, here you need to take care, and there we need to, I mean to say, Microsoft will take care about it. And security complaints, everything on-premise means everything that you need to take care. But when it comes to here, Microsoft itself is going to take care if it is a Azure. So disaster recovery is very huge cost and maintaining is also very difficult. But when it comes to here, with just a few clicks away, we can handle it. And Microsoft is going to be taking care to maintain the replication. So cloud vendors are going to take care about all those things. So this are all just for sake of knowledge. I just wanted to take you through. You can read out and you can just understand what are the things that can take care by cloud systems. Now, if I wanted to take a cloud, or if I wanted to migrate my project to my project from on-premise to cloud, let's say we are having SSIS project. If you're aware of SSIS, that's fine. Even if you're not aware of it, you just leave it. Or everyone is aware of database, right? A database I'm having. I wanted to move from my on-premise to cloud system. I wanted to move this to the cloud. I wanted to move it to the cloud. To move it to the cloud, we need to have a cloud platform. So to choose the cloud platform, we are not going to be responsible and we are not going to be part of taking a decision which cloud platform is suitable. It's all depends on the cost, depends on the customer discussion. They will take care at higher level. They're going to take care. At this point of time, your Microsoft Azure is rapidly growing, and very soon we are going to be in the very top position. And AWS is a very old cloud platform. It is okay. So AWS is a comprehensive and widely used cloud computing platform offered by Amazon, and it provides a broad range of services including compute power, storage, databases, networking, analytics, machine learning. So many things are going to be provided by AWS. And in the same way, Microsoft Azure also does the same thing. Azure is a cloud computing platform provided by Microsoft. It offers a wide array of services for building, deploying, and managing applications and services across the global network of data centers. Azure offers virtual machines, storages. So compute power means what? Virtual machines only. Okay. And storages, databases, AI services, developer tools. So many things are there. And the license cost, when you compare with AWS and Azure, Azure is having less when you compare with AWS. And we are having more on user-friendly tools, user-friendly interfaces we are having here. If you take a ADF, it is completely user interface. We don't require to write a code. So writing a code to handle all those things is very less in Microsoft Azure. I mean to say, we don't require to write a coding. And we are having many features that presently we are not having in Azure Web Services, Amazon Web Services. The third most is the cloud, Google Cloud Platform, GCP. And GCP is a suite of cloud computing services offered by Google, and it provides a variety of services. They are also providing computing, storage, databases, machine learning, networking, data analytics. Every cloud vendor target is similar. The way we are having a mobiles in the market, in the same way cloud vendors also are there in the market. So which one is the better is presently we are looking towards to the Microsoft Azure. And few more are there. I'm just giving, and I'm going to wind up today's session in 5 minutes. IBM Cloud is there. They're also having the services in the same way: compute, storage, networking. And wherever you go, Oracle is also having Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, that is OCI. Alibaba Cloud, which is famous in China, and they're expanding its services, and there also offers in the similar way computing, storage, networking, security, analytics. And Salesforce is also a cloud, but this is for only CRM applications only. It's not for the way we are doing by other cloud vendors. Okay, so the naming cloud vendors is Amazon, Microsoft, and GCP. Now started even from GCP also, but we are having more flexibility when you compare with other cloud vendors. We are having many things with the user interface. So these are all about the types of vendors that we are having it. And tomorrow I'm going to show you how we can create a subscription, how we can create an account. Okay, so we'll see that. And what is the cloud computing? And today that we discussed what are the difference between OLTP system and OLAP systems. And the intention of the OLTP system is to run the business, and intention of the OLAP system is to analyze the business. And what are the differences between on-premise and cloud systems that we have come across in the today's sessions and with the different cloud vendors. Okay, so I'm stopping here. If you have any question, you can ask me.
Hi, Prasad here. So I have one
Hi,
question.
Prasad. Yeah, please.
So my question is like, would you be covering about Synapse SQL?
Synapse SQL is not part of the content in this particular thing, so we are not going to cover that. We are covering
Oh,
Azure Data Factory and Databricks.
okay. Okay. So like, what is that? Like in a single line. So how come this content would help without SQL Synapse? Like, or do we need to
No,
learn
no.
SQL Synapse in a separate way or something like that?
See, it's all different, depends on the persons. Let's say, for example, storage plus ETL. Okay, storage we are having like ADLS is there, and for ETL ADF is there, plus ADB is there. They combine these two together and they named it as Synapse. Even if you wanted to go for Synapse, you need to know about the Data Factory and Databricks. Apart from this, Synapse SQL is there. Synapse SQL is to read the data from the Synapse database. I mean to say, I told you, right? Data warehouse, Azure data warehouse. So this is a Synapse database. Okay, we can also call this as a Synapse database. To read the data from here or to create a table here, we need to have a Synapse SQL. Okay, so Azure Synapse is going to have a under one single workspace. We are having Azure Data Factory in the same workspace. We are having Azure Databricks in the same workspace. Apart from this, we're also having a Power BI in the same place, all together at one place. But Synapse database is something different that we need to learn in a different way. You
Okay.
got my point, right? So to know
Yeah.
Synapse SQL, again, you need to be aware of SQL.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other questions? Anyone?
Azure Data Factory and Databricks are different cloud platforms, or both are same?
Both are from the same umbrella. Both are in the same umbrella from same Microsoft umbrella. Azure Data Factory and Azure Databricks. Databricks, something is different. So Microsoft associated with Databricks, and they named it as Azure Databricks.
Okay.
Hi, Bhaskar. Bhaskar,
Hi.
at the end of these 45 days, where do we stand with respect to market?
Like we are going to work as a data engineer for this particular tools, and we are having a lot of ETL projects already in the market, and even currently we are working migration of on-premise project to cloud. I mean to say to Azure Data Factory. So we are going to work as a data engineers to migrate traditional ETL projects towards to the Azure Data Factory.
Okay.
Yeah, Bhaskar,
And
do we have any what we call a type of project that we will be doing parallelly along with our
N-
course?
Not like a completely project, but the way how we are going to handle when the situation comes, that I'm going to take you through. So project is like we need to have a complete setup of data, business definitions, as you know, right? So that's highly impossible to present complete project, but the approach I'm going to talk about it.
So no hands-on would be there.
Hands-on only will be there. Hands-on will be there. That's what I'm saying. If I wanted to bring the project, you need to have a business to explain, right?
Okay.
With whatever the Microsoft is provided sample that we are going to take to consider.
okay, let me reframe this question. Uh,
Mhm.
will you be showcasing any real-time scenario which we can work on?
Exactly. I'm going to show you.
Oh,
Okay.
and
And the last
can
question.
we work on? Sorry,
Yeah,
Prasad.
sorry. Yeah, my last question would be like already we are working in IT industry,
Mhm.
so we are being a part of some other ETL testing or maybe some other testing. So how can we showcase ourselves that we are already been working in this particular cloud? Because I think it's not more than 3 or 4 years this cloud been into industry. So what is that and how we need to project ourselves to make sure we would be getting into some other company, showcasing ourselves to be experienced. So what is that workout? What we need to do from our end?
Okay, I'll take you through that. Once that is completed, like minimum 5+ we can show once that is completed here, and prior experience you can carry as it is, and rest of the experience last 5 years you can showcase with Azure Data Factory as a data engineer. So we can show that. There are many people migrated towards to the Azure. I mean to say for data engineering roles, um, from last 5 years, still people are migrating. So we can show that.
So for suppose we are having 8 years, then we can show them as minimum 5 years as the last recent
Exactly.
experience.
Yes. Perfect. That is what it is.
We won't get caught, right?
No. See, no one will come you and ask like. So they will ask to the companies, is person worked or not? They don't ask you on what technologies he worked. That is not going to be make a problem.
Hey, Bhaskar,
And
can you send the
recent,
document that you shared?
can you
Can you
share
send
or
the
what?
document that you walked us
Yeah,
through,
yeah, yeah.
in this
Yeah,
session?
will send. We will
All right,
send.
thanks.
So once you're registered, this career IT team will take care about
Right.
it.
Okay, cool.
And recently I changed my company just a month ago, and I got 83% hike. So just imagine it at this particular time period, and like we are having a demand for the data engineering roles. So if you're strong enough in the analysis and if you're strong enough in the technologies, then you can easily get a good hikes also.
Okay, Bhaskar, on this note, I would like to ask you a question. So, like Power BI, Python, and Azure data engineer, are these three enough to crack a job again?
See, Power BI basically is not part of the data engineer, but if you are aware of it, it will be easy to talk to the downstream system.
Mm.
Okay, so but Python, there is a chances. It doesn't mean that you need to know Python, but if you know something in Python, it's easy to use that in the Databricks. Again, when it comes to the Databricks, there are various ways out there to write a notebook. We have a different approaches to do it.
Okay. So one more thing, like if we don't we if we are not preparing or if we are not knowing about SQL Synapse, so that doesn't affect our
No,
existing course,
no,
right?
no.
Okay.
And one more thing is Synapse is very huge cost when you compare with normal data factory. So I'll talk about all those things. How can we decide? Okay, so how can we decide to go either to Synapse or data factory? So what is the reason to go for Synapse? So all those things I'll give a clarity on it.
One last question, Bhaskar. Bhaskar,
Mhm.
coming to Python, do we need to understand the OOPS concepts and we need to
No,
write?
no oops and all is not required. The basic
Oh,
Python will be there, right? Declaring the variables, control statements,
oh,
how we can create a simple functions. So that is more enough.
yeah. Will you be showcasing the same, or we need to learn ourselves the
You
Python?
have to learn yourself that Python and all.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm going to show you how we can handle a Databricks with PySpark.
Oh, got it. Thanks, Bhaskar.
Yeah. Okay. Any other question, guys? So feel free to ask any question.
So here we can say Azure Data Factory and Databricks both are together. Can I say it as a ATL tool?
Exactly. Even Synapse also ETL only.
Okay.
But where it is getting differentiated, Bhaskar, like,
They have all together at one place. Integrated workspace is there.
so we can either use this or that, you mean to say?
That's what I'm saying. If you have a huge budget, if you have a requirement like that, then you can go for Synapse because the license cost is more.
No, I'm talking about ADF and Databricks.
Both are same, but depends on the situation. Like there are many people they are not interested to write a coding. So Microsoft is not interested to go with coding. Okay, so they have a feasibility to have a with user interface, and they have a feasibility to write a even notebooks also. So I mean to say 80% is with Data Factory and 20% is with notebooks. They can handle it.
Notebook means Databricks.
Database.
Okay. And we'll be supporting for our interviews also, right?
No, even interview support means I'll help you to understand the questions, how we can explain, how we can talk. That I'm going to help you. You got my point, right?
That means once this is done, you will help us to how to generate, I mean, how to create
Yeah,
resume and everything
exactly. Yes,
based on our learning and where we can and how we can project it to be experienced and how we can attend interviews based on some previous
yes,
questions,
yes.
something
You are
like that,
correct.
right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Bhaskar,
One question,
I
Bhaskar.
remember that in the demo session you have conveyed that we'll be using stored procedure to decrease the cost, right?
Yeah, yeah, right.
Will you be at least briefing how to use the stored procedure, create that procedure, and can
Yeah,
you
yeah.
show that?
That I'll
Will you be
take.
showing
Yeah,
it?
yeah. It's there part of the course.
Okay then. Okay.
How we can use, how we can create. I'm going to take you through, but I'm not going to talk only stored processes.
Understood.
Bhaskar, one question, Bhaskar. Uh,
Mhm.
while practicing the things, if we stop somewhere, are you guys going to help us through some portal or any WhatsApp group?
We are going to have a WhatsApp group.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's better because if someone gets some doubt or since everyone is on the same line and traveling on the same way,
Yeah,
definitely it can give support to each and everyone. At least if other person is having no time or someone knows the answer for that, and they will discuss
yeah,
it in
yeah.
that group.
That's going to be happen. So I guess once you registered, then they're going to. have a group.
Hi, Bhaskar.
Okay, any? Yeah, please.
Uh, Actually, I'm from non-IT background. Basically a financial analyst.
Okay,
But the thing is, I usually work on Python and Tableau. So
okay.
this course will help me to, to enhance my data skills and everything.
100% is going to be helpful to you.
Okay. Because
So once you
I'm,
come in BI, like as you use the Tableau BI, so once you touch
yeah,
the any BI tool in the market, your next target is upstream system, that is data engineering only.
okay. So actually, I'm trying to switch my career to data engineering. So
Yeah,
that's the reason I have asked.
yeah, it's good for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I'm not good at the Power BI, so it was like a learning stage only.
we yeah, basically we don't work on Power BI if you're working as a data engineer, but
Okay,
if at all if there is any chance to communicate with the downstream system, so that will be helpful, but we don't require, they will explain what they are expecting, so in that
okay.
case we can handle it.
On a blind note, I can simply ask you a question. If I learn Azure Data Factory and Databricks in this course, whatever you teach us, we would be surviving in a new company without any hassle, right?
Exactly.
Okay, then that word is enough.
Bhaskar, I'm from non-IT background, and I'm also switching my career path. So I wanted to know, um, is it really needed to learn Python and SQL? Need to have an in-depth knowledge in those two to excel as a data engineer?
Basically we don't require, so you just follow me whatever I'm going to take you through to stay or to survive. So later you can adapt this Python. Even I don't know Python completely. Okay, but I know how we can write a notebooks with PySpark. So that is more enough. We don't require to know. Python is like a vast, like we have a web application development and someone told oops concept. We don't require all those things. So whatever we require, that is going to get even with the PySpark also. You can feel that. So how we can declare the variables, and how we can read the data from the um, one folder to the variable or to the data frame. So you can have that knowledge, that is more enough. So we don't require to specifically to go for that. But if you wanted to get update on a SQL, definitely for data engineering, we need to have a SQL basic knowledge
Okay.
over the period
So
of time. But I'm going to take you through the brief idea about how it is going to be there.
okay. So I have like knowledge on the Tableau. In my course, I learned about the Tableau as well as Python and SQL. So having a knowledge will help me to survive.
100% is 100% is.
Okay. Thank you, Bhaskar.
Thank you, Venu. Anyone else?
We can get the sessions recordings, right, Bhaskar, from the
Yeah,
concerned
yes. So
career.
they will share the
Oh,
recording also.
okay, okay. For reference, I'm just asking
Yeah,
for
yeah.
the reference.
Because like for
Uh,
practicing and all, the navigations
yeah,
are important for you. So
yes,
definitely they're going to give.
yeah. Thanks.
Bhaskar,
Okay.
this is my first session. So for the previous sessions also, I'll be able to
Yeah,
access
yeah,
the
yeah.
videos.
You will get them also.
Okay, in the WhatsApp group or how?
That concerned team will talk to you.
Okay then. Yes. Thank you.
Okay, then. So I'll tell you when you need to create an account. Till that, so do not create an account. because we will be having only 30 days grace period to use that account. So when I say, then you can start creating an account and start doing practice. For initially, we don't require. So tomorrow I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you how it is going to be the Azure portal and what are the services will be provided by Microsoft. I'll give brief idea about it. Okay, then I'm stopping here. I hope I answered most of the questions, and we'll see you on tomorrow. Thank you for joining.
Thank you, bro. Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Bhaskar.